Hey guys, Titans and Tia host here with another 2 versus 2 31K replay to show you guys. Today I am playing with three members from the Greek clan. Greek Hasimahos, old player, very nice guy, very disciplined, knowledgeable, and pretty clever player, honestly, who's taken Macedon. He has 14 Royal Pikemen and 6 Companion Cav. Over here on his left, we have Diomedes, also from the Greek clan, obviously. Actually, I don't know why I'm reintroducing the clan, but anyway, he's brought, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Spartans and 7 archers. As we look closely here, he's taken mostly slingers and 2 regular archers. Dio, I've already introduced him in other battles. He's a very dangerous player, especially with pikes, especially with Spartans. He understands the game very well, and he's a very methodical and wise player. Myself, Titans and Tia host the third here. I've taken 7 Silver Shield Pikemen, gold, 5 Silver Shield Legionaries, 2 regular archers, 5 Cataphracts, gold, and 1 companion that is gold, 1 experience. And then finally, we have Greek Heracles to my right, who's taken the Carthaginians. He's got 15 Sacred Bands, I believe, and 5 gold attack slingers. One of those 5 is actually gold attack, silver defense, I expect. And Heracles is a very old player, as old as Hasi or older. I'm not sure who's played first, but Heracles. One thing that strikes me about Heracles is that he remains very good at the game, and even though he hasn't really played since like 2012, besides one tourney in like 2016. So even though you don't see this guy very often, I would not underestimate Heracles by any means. He remains very capable on the game, but all the time he's taken off. So those are the players, and we'll see how the battle goes here. So we have a total of 7 archers and 6 cav, 5 of those being cataphracts. So we definitely post the cavalry advantage. We have 1 less archer. Wait, we have the same amount of archers actually as Dio does. So, and in composition, actually, the amount of the archers we have are almost exact if Dio took all slingers, because that's what Heracles did. He took all slingers, and I have 2 archers. Dio has 2 regular archers as well, so archers are pretty much evened out. I think the only difference maybe that could decide the archer war is that my archers have 2 or 3 chevrons, I forget, at least 2 chevrons. So if you look here, Dio, I think he only has at most 1 chevron, but I think he took gold, regular archers. And his slingers look to be also gold attack, so we may have a slight advantage in the archer war, and that can be compounded by the fact very easily that we have the cavalry advantage. One caveat to our cav advantage, though, is that we have cataphracts. Cataphracts don't have the greatest stamina, and their stamina, should be used to make it worthwhile on really charging infantry. They're going to be very effective against these Spartans at close range, especially if they charge them from behind. We want to use that stamina, and by that stamina, we mean combat effectiveness, on the Spartans as much as possible, or the Royal Pikes if we get a chance. Not so much chasing archers to the red line. As I said, Dio is a very smart player. He'll know that he can just skirmish these archers, send them all the way to the red line, and the cataphracts are going to have a huge struggle catching them in a timely manner, and will probably be exhausted by the time they do. Then they have to walk back or rest, and they're so far away. It really negates a lot of their effectiveness. So that's why I have this 1 companion, and that's why I put a Chev on it. I want it to last. I'm just really relying on it as the one thing we can use to chase archers without worrying about wasting a unit. But we probably won't need to worry about that anyway, because the archer war, it's physically even, as we've discussed, almost exactly even. So that can just go on, and we really just have to not lose archers, which the cavalry advantage will allow us to do pretty easily. One thing, though, is that we do have the infantry disadvantage on my side. As you know, Hasi has these Royal Pikes. He's got the gold 2 ones in the front, maybe 1 gold in the front. No, it's gold 2. It's getting peeled by Silver Shield Legionaries, but it shouldn't really make it so that he loses his advantage just because that happens. His pikemen are still better than my infantry. Over here, you could argue that Carthage is better than Spartans, especially if they defend. And Heracles just has such a strong numerical advantage over Dio over here, that the only thing that really counters it is that he took so much infantry that maybe he doesn't have too many upgrades. But on the other hand, he took 5 slingers, and they're pretty cheap, so he could actually have both a lot of infantry and many upgrades, and you kind of see that in the amount of flags here. Like, most of his infantry is honestly gold too, so pretty strong force here. Definitely counters or helps balance out the fact that I only have 12 units, and they're all silver shield units. What really helps me in this game is that, Iraq took so many slingers and evened out the archer war, so I don't really have to worry too much about getting shot. As you know, my pikes are incredibly vulnerable to missile fire, and it's really critical that we have this archer advantage and the cav advantage to support it. So presently, really all that's happening in this game is just the archer war and trying to fix good positions with our infantry, trying to get the best possible engagement on both sides as we can. I'm just chilling out, appealing some of Hasima Hos's pikemen over here. They've done some pretty good kills. The Silver Shield Legionaries have already whittled down at least 2 pikes to 60 men. Hasi over here is playing pretty smart with his cav because he is looking for a way to maybe get some of Heracles' archers or get a good place in to charge somebody's infantry, but in a place that's away from my cataphracts. You see, every time I try to go for a cav battle or something, Hasi just moves sort of away. He's being evasive, which is honestly the smartest thing you can do with those companions. If anything, you can't really do much about cataphracts unless they come all the way around, and an ally can send pikes to go counter them. So Hasi knows that he has to just sort of be evasive, make me move around, try to fool me, and then get into a place where with his cav where I can't really follow him that well, and he could wreak all sorts of havoc on these legions or these archers here. But meanwhile, so the cataphracts, I'm just sort of shadowing Hasi's companions a bit to defend our archers. Got 1 archer over here, and this companion killed another slinger here and is coming back. The slinger's pretty depleted. I'm probably going to go for this slinger here with like 64 men. But meanwhile, Heracles here has divided his army into 2 places. He's got the flank over on Dio, and I would imagine he's doing that to make Dio turn and try to get some shots with his slingers. I could also do this conceivably with my 2 archers here, which are still in very good health, all things considered. Haven't really taken much damage on my pikes yet, but I think that Dio was shooting me a little bit. That's why this 1 pike is 90 men, but on the other hand, I did engage Hasi a little bit here and there. So I honestly don't remember if Dio was directly shooting my pikes or not, but I'm going to go with probably not. So Hasi over here is maneuvering his army a little bit to give, maybe trying to give Dio a little bit support so he can engage both of us. He really doesn't need to engage me with his whole army. His infantry is better enough than mine that he could send reserves to Dio and help Dio win this part of the battle if he so choose. But Hasi is trying to save his infantry as much as we can. Some legions over here, not really a great move by me, honestly. Some legions over here engaging the companions. Companions could have maybe, if Hasi sent royals over here to help, routed these isolated legions pretty easily, and my cataphracts are just too far away to really interfere or do anything without getting blocked by pikes. Meanwhile, Heracles has engaged. He engaged actually kind of a while ago. Right into Dio here. And because Hasi's moved back, I see an opportunity to sort of move my army right on Dio's exposed flank here. There's now a gap. I can send legions here to block pikes. I can send all of these cataphracts in. Nice and mushed up into Hasi here. It's going to prevent him from being able to get to Dio very effectively. He does have a lot of reserves here. He could take them and put them behind Dio's line a little bit. But what he's doing is he's taking his companions and he's poised to do some hammer and anvil strikes against Heracles, who is in a little bit of trouble here in some spots against Dio Spartans. Meanwhile, at the cataphracts, I have engaged them. The Spartans are not effectively using their pikes on the cavalry whatsoever, so the cavalry is going to have absolutely no issue with avoiding the fact they just killed the general of Dio, by the way. That's pretty significant. But anyway, they're not going to have any issue with killing those Spartans in the way they just engaged. Hasi over here has engaged Heracles with his companions. A very nice hammer and anvil strike. Killed many units. I don't think Heracles' general is dead, which is very lucky. He could have easily lost it. Companions come over here. Cataphracts come over here and deter it, but it's a little late. Hasi did the damage. However, on the other side here, with a mix of legions, Silver Shield Pikemen, and those cataphracts, we have knocked out quite a few Spartans and killed the general of Dio. So that's a pretty significant development there, and it'll honestly help Carthage a lot, because really one of the main hallmarks of Sparta is their morale, so if you can lower it in any way possible, it's very good. More charges with the cataphracts right into these Spartans. Spartans do have their pikes down a little bit more, but they, you don't really see a lot of cataphracts falling. They're kind of blobbed up. There's legions right behind them, and their numbers are dropping very low. They're in the 20s, so I'm not really that concerned that I'm fighting pikes head on with the cataphracts at this point, just considering just how disoriented they are. Now, over here, I'm in a lot of trouble here. I've lost a lot of infantry to these royals. Hasi made a very good defensive formation here and has pushed. He's annihilated a lot of my pikes, and now his companions are behind me. If he pushes with his pikes and hammer and anvils, he has a very good chance of actually routing my whole infantry, which I believe is what he's going to try to do, but I do have too many reserves, and he may not have caught that I have those reserves there. That's why he charged. So he's going to lose a few companions, but he doesn't just throw the game and lose all of them. He kind of moves away. But this gives me some time here to send some cataphracts over and go try to wipe out some companions. Hasi just quick enough to move out. He does lose a few comps in the process of this happening, but he does still have cav. And I think the best move for Hasi right now in this exact position is to just chase archers with his companions. So Heraclius has lost a fair bit of infantry over here, but as you can see, so has Dio. And in fact, Dio's definitely lost more, definitely. Like, there's no doubt about it. Dio has 3 infantry left, and Heraclius has all this. So it's really down to Hasi. Poor Hasi has to fight 2 armies now, and he's at a significant disadvantage against the Sacred Band with these royal pikes here. So infantry disadvantage on one side, infantry advantage on the other. Heraclius is going to give me a little bit of help with 2 little tiny 30-unit Sacred Bands. Meanwhile, my legions have kind of engulfed this Royal Pike over here on the flank, which is a really ideal thing for the legions to do. As you can see, they're fighting on all sides. Lots of sword fighting going on. It's going to be very bad for these Royal Pikes. And, they just fold as right when Heraclius sends this amount of pikes here to go support. So Hasi is doing a pretty tough job, which is, trying to prevent Heraclius from flanking with just 3 or 4 pikemen over here, and cataphracts right behind him. So it's looking pretty tough for Hasi. He's still doing a good job over here defending against my silver shields. The pikemen, they're not really doing much. There's not much I can do. I can't really attack unless I get a flank here. But given that we wiped out those 2 pikes, and Heraclius is holding up Hasi's other units, it is possible now for us to come through some gaps that have been opened up. Legionnaires are going to charge right through those Royal Pikes, and they're going to get right nice and close to them, definitely beyond the spear tips, and as you can see here, they have no issue getting through them and sword fighting them. And as you can see, Heraclius' Sacred Band punching right through, just slicing this unit apart. And now I'm going to start pressing forward with the Silver Shields. They're going to get really close. Dio is flame arrowing my cataphracts, but it's not really... I think it might be a psychological move to get me to chase these archers around, but I'm not going to do it because it's not a significant amount of damage. It is a good move still because it might rout a few units if they try to charge with being this tired and getting flame arrowed, but I don't think I even really need to charge at this point. The infantry battle is just being won so significantly on every front at this point that even if I didn't have the cataphracts at all, I think we'd still win. Nevertheless, I'm going to take the opportunity over here to go wipe out some Royal Pikes with these cataphracts, and it's just going to be a fucking complete slaughter. Dio still flame arrow me. That's going to actually hurt Hasi a bit. And as I said, with these cataphracts, this overwhelming mushed in, the pike advantage isn't going to really matter that much, and this Royal Pike's going to rout, and so is one of Dio's Spartans, all of Dio's Spartans now. So now Heraclius, somehow he got all these units over here, but, it's just over for Hasi. He just can't defend against this much weight, and they're pretty much just going to admit defeat. So that's the battle. Me and Heraclius got a relatively same number of kills, and relatively same number of men remaining. I got slightly more kills, slightly more men remaining. Dio and Hasi, actually same exact deal, similar kills, similar men remaining. Look at the kill stats here, just from my army standpoint. Silver Shield Pikemen got very good kills, so did the Silver Shield Legionnaire, so my infantry Certainly the stars of the show. Archer over here, 121 kills. Obviously, my archers didn't just shoot silver royal pikes; they killed enemy archers of Dio. But honestly, this is definitely also infantry kills as well. I highly doubt that this one archer killed like three, like two, yeah, two or less than two. Or yeah. Honestly, okay, I might take that back. It's possible it only shot archers and just killed a lot of them, given the math. So anyway, guys, that's the battle. Hope you enjoyed it. Always a pleasure to play with the Greeks. All very good players. Always an interesting game, and I'll see you next time.